A guitar with a cowboy's name, a story of friendship, and a price tag that skyrocketed over time. The guest shares the history of this instrument, purchased for just $50. But what do we know about its true worth?
Great uncle used to play live on the radio. Cowboy Slim is what he went by. In 1952, a buddy of his wanted to sell him this guitar. Initially, he didn't have the money and didn't want to buy it. His friend told him to pay him when he got the money, so he paid him the $50 when he got the money. And he passed away in December of 1989, and then I got it.
Decades after its purchase, the guitar was appraised for an unbelievable sum, turning it into a treasured family heirloom.
Yeah, years ago in the early 90s, they appraised it from pictures I sent off, and they said around $10,000, and they were interested in buying it if I wanted to sell it, which seemed unusual.
Presented as a C.F. Martin guitar, crafted by C.F. Martin & Company, an American guitar manufacturer founded in 1833 by Christian Frederick Martin. Renowned for its acoustic guitars, the company gained recognition for its expertise in flat-top guitar and ukulele production. This model, the CF Martin 00042, was made in 1941, just before wartime restrictions halted the production of high-end features. Unlike the more ornate 00045, this model was considered a poor man's pearl guitar, featuring pearl inlay only on the front. Despite its modest origins, it has become the rarest and hardest to find pearl-inlaid Martin guitar.
This is the nicest example of this guitar I have seen. This guitar was made popular about 10 years ago by Eric Clapton on the Unplugged album. He was playing a 00042.
The back is made from Brazilian rosewood, with ivory trim, and the original lower-grade tuners remain untouched, an essential detail in preserving the guitar's authenticity. It also features an ebony bridge and fretboard, bound in ivoroid, a hallmark of Martin's craftsmanship. In a retail environment, a piece like this would command a value between
$65,000 and $75,000.
It's pretty good.
That sound good to you?
Yeah, not for sale, but it sounds good.
Oh, good.
Owning a guitar offers a unique outlet for creative expression, allowing individuals to convey emotions and ideas through music. This particular instrument belonged to the husband of the guest, who purchased it in the early 1940s.
He was a cowboy, and he played the guitar, and he was a musician.
An interesting fact about this guitar is that it was used by him to gather people down the Grand Canyon, making it not just a musical piece, but a part of cherished memories and experiences.
And he'd put the guitar on the back of his saddle and take it down and sing to the dudes when they'd get down below.
This exceptional guitar was crafted by C.F. Martin & Company, one of the most revered names in guitar making. Founded in 1833 by Christian Frederick Martin Sr. in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, the company has remained family-owned for 6 generations, with Chris Martin IV currently leading the legacy. This specific guitar, a Martin 00042, was produced in 1938. The 00042 belongs to Martin's prestigious 000 series, which was introduced in the early 20th century. The 42 designation highlights its luxurious appointments, including intricate inlays and premium craftsmanship.
Denoted their style and size. First it was the size by the 3 zeros and then a hyphen, and then 42 was the style. And the style of this guitar was one of the highest that they sold.
One of its standout features is the use of abalone pearl, an exotic and highly prized material often reserved for high-end guitars.
We have wonderful abalone, cat's eyes, and snowflakes that run up the ebony fingerboard, and a fingerboard that's bound in ivory.
Additionally, the guitar's top is crafted from Adirondack spruce, a wood known for its exceptional tonal qualities and historical significance in pre-war Martin guitars. With its rich history, exquisite materials, and fine craftsmanship, this remarkable guitar is a sought-after collector's piece. At auction, this extraordinary Martin 00042 guitar is expected to command a price of
Would easily sell between $20,000 and $25,000.
Oh, yes, it's not for sale, but it's nice to know that.
Good for you.
What we have here on display are 2 vintage Fender Telecaster guitars. The guest who presented these 2 musical instruments was able to acquire them on different occasions at relatively low prices.
In a group on the road, a guy came in when we were rehearsing one afternoon, and he said, "I'm down on my luck. $50, you can have that guitar." So that's what I paid for it, and it's been mine ever since.
On the other hand, the second guitar was purchased for about $250 from a local music store. Displayed alongside these guitars is an original photograph, which captures members of the Beatles posing with the guest and his band members.
Wow. So we had a chance to visit with them a little bit. They wanted a photograph. Brian Epstein said, absolutely no photographs. None. Do not take that picture. Thanks to Ringo, he said, hey, take the picture. That's how quick it happens.
True to their names, these guitars were manufactured by the Fender Musical Instruments Corporation, founded by Leo Fender in Fullerton, California. Not only did Leo Fender found the corporation, his groundbreaking electric guitar designs, including the Telecaster 1950 and the Stratocaster 1954, revolutionized modern music. Interestingly, mahogany wood was used in crafting these guitars due to its balanced tonal qualities, workability, and lightweight nature. Moving on, one of these guitars is referred to as a Telecaster Custom, and it features binding around the edges. Unlike standard Telecasters, the custom model featured top and back body binding, introduced by Fender in 1959 to give the guitar a more refined look. Though both guitars have clear provenance, their originality further makes them even more valuable. In today's auction market, the appraiser estimates that these iconic Fender Telecaster guitars, together with the Beatles photograph, would command a price of
probably go for at least $30,000, maybe as much as $35,000.
Wow.
Guitar bought for a bargain, a touch of guilt, and a value that has soared far beyond expectations. The guest shares the story of her husband's prized possession, a guitar he purchased from a friend in need.
Asked him how much he wanted for it, and I don't remember for sure, but I'm thinking maybe $150 that he paid him. After my husband got it home and did a little bit of research on it, he found it was more valuable than that. He felt a little guilty, so he went back and paid the friend probably a couple $100 more, and he's loved it ever since.
Presented is a Martin D18, an instrument revered in the world of fiddle, bluegrass, and country music, often considered the holy grail of its kind. Initially thought to be from 1937, the guitar's markings reveal that it was actually made in 1935 by C.F. Martin and Company in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Established in 1833 by Christian Frederick Martin, C.F. Martin and Company is highly renowned for its top-of-the-line acoustic guitars. They are a leading manufacturer of flat-top guitars, ukuleles, mandolins, tie pulls, as well as several models of electric guitars and electric basses, of which this piece is a perfect example. The body features a mahogany neck, back and sides, with a top crafted from Adirondack spruce, materials known for their warm, resonant tone. Remarkably, the guitar has its original ebony bridge, an uncommon feature since most have been replaced over time. Its wear is entirely natural, a testament to years of dedicated playing, yet it remains in excellent condition. One tuner was recently replaced, but the guitar retains its vintage authenticity, complete with its original case. Decades ago, an appraisal placed its value relatively high, but in today's market, even with a slowdown, its worth has climbed significantly.
He has sent pictures to, I believe, Dallas, Texas, to the guitar store there. And I don't really remember what he told me. I know it was like at least 17 or 19,000. I can't remember for sure.
In a retail environment, this Martin D18 would command a value between
This guitar would be valued at $30,000 and $35,000.
Great. Made me a believer. He always told me it was really worth a lot, but...
So he's not in trouble for buying it?
No, not at this point.
Yeah.
Around 1961, the guest acquired this 1957 Fender Stratocaster from a colleague. A standout feature of this Stratocaster is its blonde finish, often mistaken for Olympic white, but more translucent, allowing the wood grain to show, whereas Olympic white is more opaque. Additionally, a close inspection of the serial number further authenticates this piece as a 1957 production. This instrument's neck is renowned for its ergonomic design, offering exceptional comfort and smooth playability. Aside from occasional string changes and neck adjustments, this guitar remains fully original, preserving all its original components. It still retains some of its original components, such as the maple neck and fingerboard with black dot inlays, along with the original decal, pickups, and tremolo bar. Additionally, this Stratocaster comes with its original red-lined tweed case and a period-correct Fender Deluxe amplifier, both well-preserved and functional. Combining the guitar with its original accessories, this setup is a rare and highly sought-after vintage collection. Beyond its musical significance, it represents a substantial financial investment, highlighting the commitment made at the time. In its current condition, with the original case, strap, and amplifier, this piece, rated 8.5 out of 10 by the appraiser, is valued between
guitar being this original, $50,000 to $60,000.
Oh, my word. Takes my breath.
A guitar passed down through generations, once played on the radio, now holding a value far beyond its original worth. The guest shares the story of this 1938 Martin D18, once owned by their father-in-law, who purchased it from his brother, a professional musician.
He didn't really play much professionally. He tried to do that. I think in the 30s, there's a picture someplace of him with George Goebel.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He did make it onto the radio.
He did make it on the radio with George Goebel the one time.
Though he played it frequently, the guitar has remained remarkably well preserved, with no major alterations. Founded in 1833 by Christian Frederick Martin, C.F. Martin & Co. revolutionized acoustic guitar craftsmanship. Reaching the summit of guitar making, they developed particularly through the development of the dreadnought body shape, which became a standard in folk and bluegrass music. The D18 model, highly sought after by bluegrass and folk players, is revered for its mahogany back and sides, known for its warm, balanced tone that records exceptionally well. Its spruce top, sourced from the Adirondack Mountains, provides a rich resonance, while the advanced bracing, a pivotal structural change introduced in 1938, enhances its sound projection and increases its value.
The internal bracing on the guitar. So I'm just going to feel quickly right in here, and I feel that that X, where the bracing crosses, is very near the sound hole. So we call that advanced bracing, which makes it a more valuable guitar.
Really? Okay.
Stamped with C.F. Martin, Nazareth, Pennsylvania, this guitar carries the legacy of one of America's most respected instrument makers.
And on the upper block, where the neck is actually set in, it will have the model number, which is D18, and it will have the serial number, which we can date to late 1938.
Despite a light overcoat of varnish added over time, the guitar remains largely original, preserving its historical and musical significance. A previous valuation in the 1960s gives the guest an idea of what this piece is worth. But the market has seen an exponential rise in value, far beyond the guest's expectations. Today, with its pre-war craftsmanship and advanced bracing, a piece like this would command a value between
would be about $28,000 to $30,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my.
What we have here is a 1959 Fender Stratocaster and amplifier with incredible provenance. Originally purchased by the guest's husband's grandfather, this heirloom was carefully preserved and eventually passed down to the guest's husband.
When he passed away, his wife gave it to my husband because he was the only member of the family that knew how to play.
Manufactured in 1959 by Clarence Leonidas Fender, the American inventor and founder of the Fender Musical Instruments Corporation. The 1959 Fender Stratocaster is more than just a guitar. It's a time machine that transports you to the dawn of a pure rock and roll machine, as described by Eric Clapton. On the back of the guitar, a serial number is engraved on a silver plate, a signature design element by Leo Fender. Furthermore, a key innovation in the 1959 Stratocaster was its bolt-on neck design. Many 1959 Stratocasters feature a D-shaped neck profile that is generally thicker and more substantial than those found on later models, although the exact production dates for this design varied. Notably, the quality of the varnish around the knob controls exemplifies the era's craftsmanship. Additionally, the amplifier includes an internal production order number that indicates the year and month of manufacture. Both the guitar and the amplifier have well-documented provenance, including ownership by several famous musicians over the years. However, among collectors, this model of guitar is highly sought after and is estimated to be worth a significant amount.
A fair market value for this complete outfit would be easily $25,000.
Wow.
Today's guest presented an exceptional 1957 Fender Telecaster guitar with its original case. The piece originally belonged to the guest's father, who was a professional musician. He was also a Fender dealer, and the guest reminisced what it was like growing up with his father.
So consequently, I remember growing up in the 50s and early 60s, we had a lot of Fender equipment laying about the house. And I remember this particular package laying around the house. You just put them aside, rarely played it.
This particular piece is one of the most iconic guitars in music history. It was made by Fender Musical Instruments Corporation, commonly known as Fender, one of the most influential companies in the industry. Founded by Clarence Leonidas Fender, an American inventor, the company revolutionized music with its innovative electric guitars and amplifiers. This particular model has a clean and well-maintained appearance, featuring a blonde finish and an ash body. Additionally, the guitar also features a maple neck, a maple fingerboard, and 2 pickups. Its case is still in good condition and comes with the original label, hang tag, and Fender brochure. On the back of the guitar, there's a serial number that confirms this model's authenticity. However, there's a little wear observable on the lacquer of the fingerboard, but this wouldn't really affect its value. Considering the presence of its original components and also the collectability of Fender instruments, this guitar is estimated to be worth.
The retail value was close to $25,000.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. Really.
On display is the 1938 CF Martin 00021, a classic acoustic guitar renowned for its rich history and exceptional tonal character. This guitar belongs to the guest's cousin, Myra Ann Smith, who purchased it from J&S Music Company in Shreveport.
When her mother bought this guitar, so that was quite an impressive sum of money for a 15-year-old girl.
Myra was an American songwriter, music industry pioneer, record label owner, studio engineer, and multi-instrumentalist. The Martin 00021 stands as a pinnacle of pre-war guitar craftsmanship. Its signature X bracing offers a tonal balance and responsiveness that modern guitars struggle to replicate. With its elegant lines, intricate inlays, and rich resonant tone, the 1938 CF Martin 00021 guitar is a true masterpiece of luthiery and a testament to the enduring legacy of CF Martin and Company. Many 00021 guitar models from this period feature a herringbone trim around the sound hole and a slotted headstock, adding a touch of vintage elegance. The Brazilian rosewood back and sides provide the guitar a rich, deep, and balanced tone with excellent projection. It also features an ebony fretboard and bridge, providing a smooth, durable surface for playing, and contributes to the guitar's clarity and articulation. Original 1938 Martin 00021 guitars are highly sought after by collectors due to their rarity, historical significance, and exceptional tone. With documented provenance, including its original owner image, this guitar's value could be estimated at.
The guitar, without any historical accessories, would bring $20,000 in today's market.
Yeah, that's an eye-opener, yeah. That's a much higher than I could even have imagined.
This left-handed Fender Stratocaster was given to our guest's father as a gift for his 11th birthday in 1962. Here we have...
It was special ordered, however, not by my grandfather who bought it for him, by somebody else who didn't have the money to pay for it. And so it was available just sort of on a fluke.
A photo of him proudly posing with the guitar, capturing his excitement and the significance of owning such a rare instrument at a young age. This Stratocaster stands out not only for its rare left-handed orientation, but also as a model famously played by bands like the Ventures and the Beach Boys. Two of the most influential bands of the 1960s, the Ventures and the Beach Boys, each left a lasting mark on rock and surf music. By analyzing the serial number on the piece, we can precisely confirm the instrument has an authentic 1962 model. Also, the sales brochure from that year further authenticates the guitar, providing a detailed look at its original specifications and market presence. Adding to its uniqueness is the slab fingerboard, a feature Fender changed later that year, making early 1962 models especially sought after. Furthermore, its custom Olympic white finish was a special order color, adding to its rarity. Remarkably, this guitar remains in near-perfect condition, with minimal wear and its original case intact.
These instruments are highly desirable today because the way they play, the history behind them. Being a left-handed model, it makes it a little bit harder to sell because there's fewer people out there.
While a left-handed guitar may have a niche market, this piece's rarity enhances its appeal. The appraiser estimates its retail value to be
at retail of $48,000 on it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh my!
I'm as excited as you are. It's a great guitar, and it's just it's really fun to see it.
A guitar bought brand new, preserved in remarkable condition, and now carrying a value far beyond its original price. The guest shares the story of this instrument, a piece of their personal history, but what do we know about its true worth?
We've got to look at these pictures because these are a view. You were a real hipster back then. 1961. You're the original owner of this guitar.
Yeah.
Do you still have the boots?
No, they're gone.
Purchased for just $350, the guitar has remained completely original, with no refinishing or part replacements, an essential detail in the world of vintage instruments. Presented is a Fender Stratocaster guitar, accompanied by its original instruction booklet, often called a hang tag by collectors. Fender, founded by Leo Fender in 1946, is renowned for iconic models like the Telecaster, Stratocaster, and Precision Bass, which have significantly influenced music history. Colloquially known as the Strat, it is a model of double cutaway electric guitar designed between 1952 and 1954 by Leo Fender, Bill Carson, George Fullerton, and Freddie Tavares. This model of the Fender guitar revolutionized electric guitar design with its contoured body and 3-pickup configuration. A standout feature is the bird's eye maple neck, a rare and striking wood grain pattern that adds both aesthetic and collectible appeal. Over time, the pickguard has developed a distinctive greenish hue, and the control knobs and pickups have aged to a uniform fade, hallmarks of a well-preserved, untouched vintage piece. Once valued for an impressive sum nearly a decade ago, this guitar has seen a significant appreciation in the vintage market.
This one guy, he wanted to give me $2,500 for it.
Okay. How long ago was that?
About 9 years ago.
Trading in today's environment, a piece like this would command a value between
It's going to be about $18,000 to $20,000.
Oh, wow. I should have bought 2 of them.
Set on your screen is an extraordinary piece of 1957 Fender Stratocaster guitar. Unveiling a true masterpiece, this Fender Stratocaster was originally owned by the guest's father.
He was a sign painter by profession, but he had a passion for music, and he grew up in a family that had a lot of music in the home, and he played many instruments.
The Stratocaster is one of the most iconic guitars ever made, renowned for its versatility and timeless design. The 1957 Fender Stratocaster stands as a testament to Leo Fender's genius and served as a catalyst for musical evolution. On the back of the guitar, you'll notice a distinctive skunk stripe and a maple neck that adds brightness and snap to the tone. Additionally, it features a 2-tone sunburst finish and a non-laminated plate over the tremolo area. Its unique design, transitioning from black to yellow on a contoured body, showcases the Stratocaster's refined style and exquisite craftsmanship. From the front view, the non-laminated white pickguard, screw down, complements the rosewood fingerboard, which provides a smooth playing feel and warm tone. As a sign of authenticity, Fender indicates the month and year of production of the guitar, typically handwritten or stamped on the neck heel, providing valuable information for collectors and historians.
I took the neck off earlier, and inside of here there's a date of 8/57, and that matches with everything else that I saw on the guitar before I did that, so it made me feel comfortable in thinking it is that.
Original 1957 Stratocasters are highly prized by collectors due to their rarity, historical significance, and exceptional tone. In today's auction market, the appraiser estimates that this timeless 1957 Fender Stratocaster guitar could fetch.
I would guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 17,000. And it's a nice thing. You're very lucky.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my dad is smiling somewhere.
One guitar is a spark, but a collection is a symphony, resonating with the owner's heart and soul. A musician with a deep passion for fine instruments has assembled this remarkable collection of guitars, each crafted by the legendary Larson brothers. The Larson brothers were renowned American luthiers who founded the Larson Brothers Guitar Company in the early 20th century.
Carl and August Larson were Swedish immigrants who started business in Chicago in the late 1800s. They're kind of the unsung pioneers of the American guitar because they were the first builders, at least on any scale, to adapt the old traditional gut string flat top guitar and beef it up and make it withstand the tension of steel strings.
Their instruments are celebrated for their exceptional craftsmanship, meticulous attention to detail, and superior tonal quality. Among the highlights of this collection is a stunning harp guitar featuring 6 bass strings, originally marketed by W.J. Dyer and Brother. W.J. Dyer & Brother were a prominent music retailer based in St. Paul, Minnesota, known for branding Larson Brothers guitars under their own label. This particular harp guitar stands out for its big hollow arm and sub-bass strings, which produce a rich, sonorous and mellow tone, making it a truly unique instrument. In terms of value, this extraordinary Larson harp guitar is expected to command a price of.
One like this is going to be about $5,500 retail.
Another exceptional piece in the collection is a rare 19-inch Larson guitar, likely crafted in the 1940s. Known as the Super Jumbo, this model was marketed under the Prairie State trade name. It represents the pinnacle of the Larson Brothers craftsmanship, blending innovation with exquisite design. The guitar features a mahogany neck, a bound fingerboard adorned with intricate inlays, and a commanding body size that enhances its tonal depth. The Super Jumbo is prized for its powerful, balanced tone, remarkable projection, and sustained resonance, making it a coveted piece among collectors and musicians alike. The estimated retail value for this impressive Super Jumbo Larson guitar is...
This one's going to cost you $22,000 to $25,000 retail.
Really great to hear the story behind the Larson Brothers and the unsung heroes of these steel string guitars. Thanks so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
In the world of electric guitars, few names carry as much weight as Rickenbacker, from its pioneering role in the 1930s to its domination of the 1960s rock scene. Today we're at Rickenbacker's headquarters in California to explore some of its most iconic models. Founded around 1931 by Adolf Rickenbacker and George Beauchamp, the company set out to create innovative, high-quality Rickenbacker guitars. Among its groundbreaking designs was the first electric guitar, the frying pan, introduced in 1931. Rickenbacker continued to push the boundaries of guitar design, including the development of its famous 12-string models in 1964. Furthermore, that same year, an early version of the Rickenbacker 12-string guitar was used by the Beatles and other legendary musicians, cementing its place in rock history.
And he also used that guitar in the film Hard Day's Night. That's the most recognizable opening chord in the history of rock and roll.
One of Rickenbacker's early electric guitars featured a unique design with two horseshoe magnets placed end to end, allowing the strings to pass through them.
Horseshoe magnet pickup, if you take two horseshoe magnets and put them end to end, and the strings pass through that. That's the electromagnetic field, and that's how it's made louder.
Moreover, Rickenbacker guitars not only created a striking visual effect, but also contributed to the instrument's distinctive tone. Notably, in its early years, most Rickenbacker electric guitars were used for playing Hawaiian music, thanks to their signature sound. Today, Rickenbacker guitars are highly collectible, with vintage models appreciating in value over time. This particular Rickenbacker guitar has been appraised at a significantly higher value, estimated between
Sell from between $3,000 and $3,500 in a retail shop.
Our guest acquired this guitar from the original owner's eldest son 14 years ago.
He kept the original bill of sale and the one where he paid it off a year later.
And that was in
July 28, 1956 on the bill of sale.
1956, and that was right here in Mobile?
Right in Mobile.
Okay.
This 1954 Stratocaster laid the foundation as one of history's most influential electric guitars, celebrated for its revolutionary design, versatile tone, and exceptional playability. One of the most reliable ways to date an early Fender Stratocaster is by checking the serial number found on the back plate at the base of the neck. This guitar bears the serial number 0047, making it the 47th Stratocaster ever produced.
We can see it's 0047. This is literally the 47th one made, excluding maybe a few prototypes. That would actually place it in the year 1954.
Nearly all original, this instrument has only had its knobs and pickup covers replaced due to deterioration over time. Fortunately, these minor replacements don't significantly affect its value, making it one of the closest examples to an original Stratocaster from that era. However, the original components have been preserved over time, though they have become exceptionally delicate due to time and exposure. Notably, the body is crafted from ash, Fender's original choice of wood.
And ash was the original wood used on these. It's just that it's cut perfectly on the quarter, which is very unusual. Sometimes you see little rings of grain on it, but here it's almost like a violin or an acoustic guitar. You see these absolutely straight grain.
Its innovative double cutaway and contoured edges provide superior comfort, making long play sessions easier and improving access to higher frets. In today's market, this 1954 Stratocaster in this condition would be valued between
$50,000 and $70,000. And I think that not too much would be taken off just for the knobs and the pickup covers being replacements. But this is about as close as we're going to get to the original thing.
A guitar bought straight from a music shop in Illinois, fresh out of the army, now standing as a testament to both time and craftsmanship.
This was my dad's. When he got out of the army, he went into a music shop in Alton, Illinois and purchased this guitar.
Okay. The guest presents a 1954 Gibson Les Pauls Standard, finished in its signature gold top, a model that helped define the electric guitar industry. Founded in 1902 by Orville Gibson, Gibson guitars became one of the most respected names in music. The Gibson Les Paul was originally designed by factory manager John Hewis and introduced in 1952, quickly becoming an icon, shaping the sound of rock and blues. Stamped with a serial number starting with 4, this guitar's origins trace directly to 1954, one of the early years of Les Paul's evolution. This model features a solid mahogany body with a carved maple top, a combination that gives it a distinctive sustain and resonance prized by musicians. What makes this piece even more intriguing is the presence of a factory-original fixed-arm Bigsby tremolo, a rare feature that is usually an aftermarket modification. Unlike later models with humbuckers, this Les Paul is equipped with P90 pickups, known for their warm, punchy tone that became a staple in early rock and blues music. Its original trapezoid inlays and bound rosewood fretboard add to the unmistakable character that defines a vintage Les Paul. Despite being used extensively, it remains in remarkably clean condition, with no breaks or structural issues. In today's market, a well-preserved example like this would easily be valued at
a retail estimate of $45,000 on this one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
My dad would have been pleased to know that for sure. Yeah.
Introducing the 1955 Gibson Les Paul Custom, inherited by the guest from her grandfather, which both serves as a piece of musical history and a cherished heirloom.
When I was about 12 or 13, 1967 or 68, and it's a 1955.
It's from late 1955, which is about 2 years after it was introduced.
Designed as a more luxurious version of the standard Les Paul, this model catered to musicians seeking refinement and sophistication. It featured elegant craftsmanship with refined decorative elements and high-quality components. Nicknamed the Black Beauty for its striking pearl, black, and white accents, this model marked a bold departure from the gold-top Les Pauls. Notably, this model was offered in 2 variations, one with a Bigsby tailpiece for vibrato and another with a stop-tail bridge. Originally equipped with a stop-tail bridge, this guitar was later modified with an aftermarket Bigsby tailpiece, adding tremolo capability. Despite the modification, this guitar retains most of its original components, including the case, and exhibits what the industry calls honest wear.
Unfortunately, that didn't do a lot for its value. It's a really nice version. It has, all its original hardware except for that change and the original case, and the finish has some wear.
Serving as a cherished family heirloom, it embodies legacy, craftsmanship, and deep personal meaning. In its present state, in a vintage specialty shop with the modifications, the guitar would likely be worth.
It would probably sell for about $12,000.
Awesome.
Had it retained its original stop-tail piece, its value would be significantly higher, potentially reaching a value of.
Would be closer to $18,000, maybe even $20,000.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. It's a family heirloom.
The experience of owning a guitar passed down through generations can be deeply moving and personal. This spectacular musical instrument was inherited by the guest from his uncle, carrying with it a rich history and timeless craftsmanship.
My father and his 3 brothers all played, and as kids we used to run through the parlor and listen to them all sitting around. It was a great time.
Remarkably, this guitar is the legendary Fender Telecaster, one of the most influential electric guitars ever created. Originally introduced by Fender in 1950 as the Broadcaster, the model was renamed the Telecaster in 1952 due to a trademark dispute with Gretsch drums. Fender, founded in 1946 by Clarence Leonidas Leo Fender in Fullerton, California, revolutionized the music industry with its innovative designs. The Telecaster quickly gained widespread popularity and became a defining instrument in early rock and roll. This particular Telecaster is known as the Black Guard Telecaster, distinguished by its signature black, single-layer pickguard, which gave the guitar its iconic nickname.
From 1953, in late '54, they changed to the white pickguard rather than the black.
Renowned for its crisp, twangy tone and exceptional playability, this Blackguard Telecaster remains one of the most sought-after vintage guitars among musicians and collectors alike. Another notable feature is the ashtray bridge cover, a metal cover designed to encase the bridge assembly, often removed by players for easy access to the saddles. Adding to the value of this collection is the original guitar case, crafted from pressed fiberboard, a durable composite material commonly used in vintage Fender instrument cases. Alongside the guitar is a Fender Deluxe Reverb amplifier, a classic amp beloved for its warm, tube-driven tone and built-in reverb. The Deluxe Reverb was designed as a more compact, portable version of the Twin Reverb, while still delivering its signature sound. At auction, the Fender Telecaster guitar alone is expected to command a price of
$25,000.
The rare original case will fetch an estimated value of
Is worth $2,500 because they almost never survive.
The Deluxe Reverb amplifier will generate a strong return of
Amplifier, if being sold separately, is probably in that $2,500 range.
As a complete set, including the guitar, its original case and amplifier, this collection is estimated to bring a total value of
Probably have a package that could sell for at least $30,000 in today's market.
I would have never. It's definitely going to move out of the closet somewhere a little bit more important now. I know for sure it's going to move up the family line a lot.
A high school purchase, a salesman's deal, and a guitar that turned out to be a collector's dream. The guest recalls buying this instrument straight off the rack at a music store on Lake Street.
Saved your paper route money because this was not an inexpensive guitar at the time.
It was hanging on the rack just like it was, and the salesman at the store told me they're going to discontinue it. He says, I'll give you a good deal on it. I paid $650 for it, the guitar, the case, and a Ranger 20T amp.
Presented as a Gibson ES-355, a model produced in 1959, one of the most sought-after years for Gibson guitars. Based in Nashville, Tennessee, the Gibson Guitar Corporation is an American manufacturer of guitars, other musical instruments, and professional audio equipment. The legendary guitar manufacturer was established in 1902 by Orville Gibson, the genius who invented archtop guitars by constructing the same type of carved arched tops used on violins. The late 1950s to early 1960s era is considered the golden age for Gibson craftsmanship, making this guitar a prime example of the brand's finest work. Featuring a tremolo bar that adds to its desirability, the instrument has been preserved with incredible care, showing minimal fret wear and a perfectly straight neck.
On the gold, a lot of times people don't want this tremolo bar, but in this particular guitar, the tremolo bar is very desirable.
The gold hardware has developed a light patina, a natural sign of age, but the guitar itself remains in near pristine condition. Even the case, upon opening, presents a glow of vintage excellence, reinforcing the rarity of finding a piece so well preserved. Despite fluctuations in the market, this example stands at the pinnacle of Gibson collecting. In today's retail environment, this Gibson ES-355 would command a value between
In retail basis, somewhere between $20,000 and $24,000. I don't know if that's a surprise to you or not.
No, I've seen them anywhere from 12 up to 25, and maybe sometimes a little higher.
Featured on the show is a remarkable 1962 Sonic Blue Fender Stratocaster, a true icon of vintage craftsmanship and musical history. For the love of guitar, this guest purchased the piece for just $135 at a pawn shop, and it has been with him for over 50 years.
And are you still playing it?
Oh, yeah, I play it every day. No, not this one. I play my other one, but I used to play this one. I haven't played this in about 8 years. I've had it stored.
As a mark of authenticity, this guitar bears a Stratocaster mark on its headstock. This piece is considered part of the Columbia Broadcasting System, CBS era, before Leo Fender sold the company to CBS in 1965. Clarence Leonidas Fender was an American inventor and founder of the Fender Musical Instruments Corporation. One of the most standout features of this guitar is its Sonic Blue color.
Sonic Blue is one of the more rare Fender custom colors. They got their colors from automotive paint, DuPont.
Okay.
And this color was first used on 1956 Cadillacs. And so Fender began to use it, but it wasn't very popular, so there aren't very many of them done in this color.
Over the years, many prominent people have laid their hands on this 1962 Fender Stratocaster, which has so far shot it into the limelight. The most notable among them are English singer-songwriter, musician and political activist John Lennon and also George Harrison. For a guitar bought for just $135, this guest has been fortunate enough in his previous appraiser with mouth-watering offers.
I was offered $35,000 for it one time, and then I refused that, and they offered me $40,000.
In today's auction market, the appraiser estimates that this timeless 1965 Fender Stratocaster would go for
$45,000 and maybe even higher.
Well, it's good. Good to know.
Some stories sound too good to be true, but sometimes the truth is just as remarkable. This 1944 Martin D28 was purchased in the early to mid-1970s for around $250 to $300 from a pawn shop.
He was in college in Colorado, and him and a friend had gone to a pawn shop. They spotted this guitar, and the man at the pawn shop said that it was once owned by Hank Williams.
According to the salesperson, the piece was claimed to have belonged to Hank Williams, though there's no solid proof of that.
One of the things that I would put to rest first is that I don't think that Hank Williams actually owned this guitar, but he did play a Martin D28.
However, what truly matters is the guitar itself. This is the holy grail for bluegrass players, a D-size body Martin from a significant transitional year. The Martin D28 is a dreadnought-style acoustic guitar made by C.F. Martin & Company, established in 1833 by Christian Frederick Martin. Interestingly, this piece was made in 1944, the last year Martin used scalloped bracing, a construction technique that gives the guitar a uniquely resonant and warm tone. Using a mirror and flashlight, experts confirmed the presence of scalloped bracing inside, a key detail that adds immense value.
But when we were over at the musical instrument table, we got a mirror and a flashlight and looked up inside of the top and the back here, and we could tell that it had the scallop bracing.
Okay, and that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
Okay.
The body features Adirondack spruce on top and Brazilian rosewood, both highly prized tonewoods, with the original herringbone trim and inlay pattern still intact. The tuners have been replaced, and there's a light overspray on the finish, but neither significantly affects its worth. Strumming just one chord reveals why these guitars are so revered. The deep, full-bodied tone speaks for itself.
You hear how full that is?
Evidence of the overspray includes a slight varnish mist inside the sound hole and an area near the fingerboard extension that wouldn't have originally been finished. Despite these minor changes, the guitar remains a highly desirable collector's piece, estimated at
Would retail for $35,000 to $45,000.
Well, that's great. That's unbelievable.
This particular guitar has a unique history. Our guest traded a 1939 Chevrolet for this 1964 Gibson ES335. Was it a fair deal? Let's find out.
The guy I traded off of said he bought it in California when it was new, I'm assuming. He played country and western music. I've always played rock and roll and country and western with it.
So you've been using them?
I haven't used it in some years, but back in the 70s I did quite a bit.
This 1964 Gibson ES335, with its maple body and rosewood fingerboard, was a defining model in the evolution of electric guitars. Blending solid body characteristics with semi-hollow construction, this piece offered exceptional tonal versatility while minimizing the feedback issues of traditional hollow bodies. Introduced in 1958, it evolved through several variations, including the shift from PAF pickups, discontinued by 1962, to newer models that enhanced its sonic capabilities. An iconic piece of musical history, it's revered for its versatility across genres, securing its place as a masterpiece in electric guitar design. Renowned for its technical innovation, it also gained fame through legends like Chuck Berry, B.B. King, and Keith Richards. However, its fame peaked when Eric Clapton, a key figure in rock and blues, played it during his time with Cream. Born in 1945 in England, Clapton revolutionized guitar playing in the 1960s, fusing raw blues expression with electrifying rock energy. Interestingly, Clapton's iconic cherry red 1964 ES335, boosted by its celebrity provenance, recently sold for an astounding.
That guitar sold for over $800,000.
While not a celebrity-owned guitar, this 1964 Sunburst model remains highly coveted among collectors and musicians alike. Back in 1992, it was valued at.
Well, I was offered $1,500 for it in 1992.
Well, we can say the deal was worth it, considering the fact that today this guitar commands a significantly higher price, with an estimated retail value of
Retail price would be $12,000 to $12,500. So that was a pretty good deal for trading a
that old car's long gone.
That car's long gone, yeah.
A guitar's singular allure can be so captivating that a man might surrender one of his most prized possessions just for the privilege of calling it his own. This is precisely the case with this guest, who traded his Gisborne Birdland for this remarkable Mosrite guitar. Mosrite guitars are highly prized for their unique designs, exceptional craftsmanship, and unmistakable sound. They were the creation of Semi Mosley, a visionary American luthier, inventor, and entrepreneur who began crafting guitars at a young age. Mosley was a perfectionist, ensuring that every Mosrite guitar was built with meticulous attention to detail and superior quality. Interestingly, Mosrite offered a wide range of customization options, allowing musicians to create their ideal instrument, something evident in this particular guitar. Displayed beside the guitar is a photograph showcasing Mosley's signature, which was handcrafted into the inside of the instrument, an unmistakable mark of authenticity. One of the most fascinating aspects of this guitar is that it represents an early prototype of a Mosrite design.
This is all hollow. He called it the guitar with a built-in soul.
Created in the late 1950s, this prototype laid the foundation for the iconic Mosrite guitars that would later define the brand's legacy. Adding to its distinctiveness, the back of the guitar features a metal plate known as the Mosrite zero-fret tailpiece cover, a signature detail in many Mosrite models. While the guitar originally had some broken parts when acquired, these have been expertly replaced by the guest.
Had a couple things on it that had broken, like the pick guard and like the head thing, and so I replaced those.
However, this does not affect its value in any way, as Mosrite prototypes remain highly sought after by collectors. At auction, this rare Mosrite guitar is expected to generate a significant value of
Giannato, retail $15,000, maybe more, but it's so unique that if it were in a different environment, who knows? And that's why I love seeing.
Luxury, functionality, and tonal versatility come together in this iconic Gibson ES355 stereo guitar. Purchased by the guest at a pawn shop in 1998, this stereo guitar is believed to have been owned by a local musician.
Passed it down to his nephew, and his nephew would take it into the pawn shop every now and then, and one time he just didn't go back to retrieve it, and so we purchased it.
Originally crafted by Orville Gibson in 1963, this guitar is known for its advancement in electronics of guitars. Orville H. Gibson was an American luthier who founded the Gibson Guitar Company, makers of guitars, mandolins, and other instruments. Many legendary guitarists, such as B.B. King and Chuck Berry, made use of this stereo guitar, making it a highly popular and sought-after piece. Made with the latest electronic bells and whistles at the time, this stereo guitar was one of the most expensive guitars of its era. A unique feature of this Gibson guitar is the stereo output, which uses a cord that runs through two amplifiers.
That meant that the signal from one pickup went out the left speaker, and the signal from another pickup went out the right speaker. Very high-tech in 1963.
Furthermore, this stereo guitar has a semi-hollow body with a center block, which enhances resistance to feedback, making it more suitable for high-gain settings. Another notable feature of this ES355 stereo guitar is the thin neck, giving it a more comfortable feel and easier access to higher frets. Interestingly, the red finish of this piece is uncommon, making it highly desirable to collectors. Since this guitar remains in its original condition, and because Gibson guitars are highly sought after, at auction this piece would easily be worth.
Probably sell for about $11,000.
Quite a good investment.
Definitely.
Originally acquired by our guest's father-in-law, this Fender Esquire was played in a cowboy band during the 50s and 60s.
He bought this guitar in 1954 for $300 and played it for several years, and then it kind of got put in the basement for about 50 years, and he passed away a couple years ago and gave it to my husband.
Cowboy bands were more than just musical acts. They played a vital role in American culture, bridging rural and urban divides while shaping the country music genre. Renowned for its sharp, twangy tone, this guitar helped define the signature sound of many country western musicians of the era. Legendary musicians like Stephen Stills, David Bromberg, and Bruce Springsteen shaped the distinctive sound of the Fender Esquire in their early careers. A detailed examination of its internal components is one of the most reliable ways to assess this guitar's authenticity and historical value. However, in this case, key elements of its timeline can be determined without dismantling the guitar. Notably, the original bridge cover, known as the ashtray, offers a clear clue to the guitar's vintage. Upon further inspection, the serial number on the bridge, 0349, suggests a production period between 1950 and 1952, though the exact year remains uncertain. Furthermore, the absence of a serial number on the neck plate is typical of Fender instruments from the early years of production. Moreover, the use of Phillips head screws in the neck plate bolts indicates post-1952 production, as earlier models featured straight screws. Interestingly, the condition of this guitar is exceptional and highly rare, holding significance that goes beyond its material. For insurance purposes, considering its authenticity, provenance, and pristine condition, it would be valued between
screws like the screws used on the pickguard. Fabulous condition on this instrument.
A guitar bought with scraped-up money and a hitchhiked journey, this 1952 Fender Telecaster carries more than just a legacy. It holds a story of dedication. Though purchased in 1953 from a Dallas pawn shop, markings on the neck confirm its production date to be 1952, a transitional year for Fender guitars. The serial number stamped on the bridge further supports this, along with unique period details like even-height pole pieces and a mix of slotted and Phillips screws. One of the most remarkable features is the initials TG on the neck, marking the work of Tadeo Gomez, a legendary Fender neck carver known for shaping some of the most coveted instruments of the era. His craftsmanship is so revered that guitars bearing his necks are among the most highly valued Fender models today.
And another characteristic of 1952 being sort of a transitional year is that you have a mixture of slotted screws in the top holding in the pickguard and two Phillips-style screws on either end of the control plate.
Beyond its historical significance, the guitar remains in exceptional condition, with minimal wear for a piece over 70 years old. For collectors, this isn't just a vintage Fender, it's a piece of guitar history, making it an incredibly desirable find. When plugged in, the sound lives up to the reputation. A real screamer, as collectors say about vintage Fenders. Initially valued at $10,000 about 5 years ago, its worth has significantly increased due to both market demand and its pristine condition. A conservative estimate places its value at an approximate.
Probably closer to $30,000 because it's so clean.
Okay.
Few instruments embody both rarity and historical significance, quite like this exceptional Gibson Style O archtop guitar. Cherished through the years, this Gibson guitar was given to the guest by his great-uncle, whose wife purchased it for him in 1928. Originally crafted by Orville Gibson, this Gibson guitar showcases his pioneering design and craftsmanship. Orville Gibson was an American luthier, a maker of guitars, mandolins, and other instruments whose innovative designs laid the foundation for modern guitars. With an ornate scroll body, this guitar is one of the most visually striking guitars of its era. This Gibson-style O guitar has distinctive features that give it an unusual shape, making it both unique and highly sought after.
And it's an unusual looking guitar with this large curled upper bass bout, and also the treble bout is an unusual shape.
Found in the oval sound hole is the serial number in the 70,000 range, dating it to 1922, confirming this guitar's authenticity. An important feature of this Gibson-style O guitar is the truss rod at the neck, making it easier to play than its former ones.
Baseball bat type neck that was almost unplayable. It was very difficult to play. The addition of the truss rod enabled them to slim down the neck and make it much more comfortable to play.
Interestingly, this guitar's tailpiece is made in Lloyd Law, distinguishing this piece from its predecessors, marking a significant innovation in design. Another intriguing feature of the guitar is its sunburst color, enhancing its overall appeal. Remarkably, this guitar comes in its original case, a feature rare for instruments of its era. Given its rarity, condition, and originality, the estimated market value for this 1922 Gibson-style O guitar would be...
This is worth about $7,000 at retail.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
The experience of owning a guitar passed down through generations can be deeply moving and personal. This guitar belonged to the grandfather of this guest, who was a musician.
Missouri at the time that he purchased it, just a few miles north of Memphis. I think he paid $225 for the guitar maybe and $25 for the case.
Interestingly, this stringed instrument is a 1955 Gibson Les Paul special. The Gibson Les Paul was first introduced in 1952 by Gibson Guitar Corporation in collaboration with the legendary guitarist Les Paul. Gibson Guitar Corporation was founded in 1902 by Orville Gibson in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Gibson Guitar Corporation has had a profound impact on music history, shaping the sound of countless genres and musicians. One of such musicians was Les Paul, who was a guitarist, songwriter, and inventor who revolutionized the music industry with his innovative playing style, recordings, and guitar designs. The Les Paul Special was designed to be a more affordable, stripped-down version of the iconic Les Paul guitar. Interestingly, this particular guitar featured both a single cutaway and a double cutaway design, which makes this piece an exceptional find. Notably, the finish on this guitar is called TV Yellow, which was only used for a limited time, making this guitar relatively rare.
Made this color specifically to look good on camera, good on TV.
Interestingly, the original case for this is also on display, further making this a perfect collection. Unfortunately, this guitar has some condition issues, which are not uncommon for an instrument of this age.
The tailpiece is original. It's been broken, but it hasn't fallen apart. Pretty common. Some rust and corrosion here and there. The frets are worn. The tuners are original.
However, despite these wears, this Gibson Les Paul Special guitar and its original case will generate an estimated value of
still between $10,000 and $12,000 in a retail environment.
Wow, I had no idea.
An instrument that serves as a symbol of solace and creativity for soldiers during World War II is this Gibson SJ guitar. Brought in by our guest, this iconic guitar originally belonged to her father-in-law. Crafted during a period of material and labor shortages, this guitar was made by Gibson Corporation, founded by Orville Gibson, making it especially sentimental. Orville H. Gibson was an American luthier who founded the Gibson Guitar Company, makers of guitars, mandolins, and other instruments. A distinctive feature of this guitar is the banner logo at the top, displaying the phrase "Only a Gibson is good enough," further confirming its authenticity. Built towards the end of the Second World War, this piece boasts superior quality compared to earlier models.
When materials became scarce, they used to substitute different woods. But fortunately, this one was built towards the end of the war.
Interestingly, the nickname of the guitar, Southern Jumbo, comes from this guitar's large body, designed to enhance volume, resulting in a richer sound. Another characteristic of this Gibson guitar is the reinforcing rod running through the neck, allowing for adjustments if the neck warps over time. The back of this guitar is crafted from a vibrant piece of mahogany, an excellent acoustic wood, enhancing its tonal quality. Furthermore, this SJ guitar features traits that authenticate it as a wartime instrument, making it highly sought after by collectors.
So this neck is actually a lamination of 5 pieces of wood. So we've got a piece that's in wonderful condition.
This Gibson guitar is in wonderful shape because it has barely been played over the years, making it exceptionally well preserved. In today's market, a well-preserved guitar like this, together with its original case, would be valued at
of this guitar at $9,000 to $10,000.
Wonderful.
Especially with a case in that wonderful condition.
That's great.
Some guitars are just instruments, but others are works of art, and this is one of them.
My father bought it in 1953 for me, and I've had that ever since. It's what I learned how to play on.
This is a 1953 John D'Angelico archtop jazz guitar made during the luthier's golden era. John D'Angelico, often called the greatest archtop guitar maker of all time, handcrafted each of his instruments in his small New York City workshop.
And John D'Angelico is, by acclaim, the greatest archtop guitar maker ever. And I see your father is playing a D'Angelico guitar as well.
Unlike mass-produced models, every D'Angelico guitar was essentially custom-made, with variations in neck shape, finish, and hardware.
Your guitar here has a medium neck and a custom dark finish, and it came with a pickup, which is not on it right now because the pickguard's disintegrated.
The original sales receipt, handwritten by D'Angelico himself, confirms the guitar was purchased in October 1953 for $325, a substantial sum at the time. This guitar originally came with a floating pickup, though the pickguard which housed it has since deteriorated. D'Angelico's instruments were renowned for their smooth playability, rich tone, and elegant craftsmanship, making them highly prized by jazz musicians. And after all these years, it still sings beautifully in the hands of its original owner. But beyond its value, this guitar carries a lifetime of music, from childhood lessons to the road and back home again. A well-preserved 1953 D'Angelico like this one would sell for.
Would sell in the range of $30,000 to $35,000 at retail.
Yeah.
Would you mind playing it a little bit for me to let us hear it?
Some guitars survive decades of music, but few survive a tornado. This is a 1955 Gibson J160E, an acoustic-electric hybrid that became legendary for its warm, amplified tone. Originally introduced in 1954, the J160E was one of the first acoustic guitars to feature a built-in pickup, making it a favorite among early rock and folk musicians. The solid spruce top, used only in the 1954 and 1955 models, was later replaced with laminated wood to reduce feedback issues when plugged into an amp. One of its most famous players was John Lennon, who used a Gibson J160E to write and record many of the Beatles' earliest hits. Despite surviving the 2011 Joplin tornado, this guitar remains in remarkably original condition, with no major repairs or modifications. The sunburst finish, adjustable bridge, and P90 pickup all add to its vintage authenticity. Beyond its monetary value, this guitar carries a remarkable history, one of music, survival, and resilience. Today, a 1955 Gibson J160 like this, alongside its original box, would retail between.
The average retail on something like this would be around $6,000 or $8,000.
Well, thank you. My husband's going to be thrilled.
This guest's passion for guitars led him to these two unique instruments with rich histories. One of the items in this collection, referred to as a Parlor guitar, dates back to the early days of guitar making in Europe, circa the 1850s. This piece remains unaltered over the years, and it features a smaller body and a richly patinated surface.
You don't want to clean this, you don't want to polish it, and you never want to refinish it.
That reflects a rich European heritage. Notable details on this Parlor guitar include an ebony fingerboard and slotted peghead, characteristics of guitars made in an era when guitars were meticulously handcrafted. The second guitar in this collection is a Martin D28, created by C.F. Martin & Company, an esteemed name in quality American guitar making. Dating back to circa 1946, this Martin D28, crafted in Nazareth, is prized for its loud, booming sound and stands as the favorite of country legends and rock icons. It features zipper inlays and signs of its extensive use on the back with belt buckle scratches. Despite their differences, both guitars share intricate inlays and exceptional craftsmanship. The Parlor guitar's center strip bears a stamp inscribed with A. Martin & Co., authenticating its maker. On the other hand, the D28 guitar bears the inscription C.F. Martin, which helps authenticate its origin. The appraiser estimates that the A. Martin guitar, in this condition, would be worth,
As is, worth about $1,000.
However, this C.F. Martin D28 would command a significantly higher value than the A. Martin, at a price of.
It's worth about $12,000 to $15,000 now. Not a bad investment.
Guitars are truly one of the most fascinating and expressive instruments in the world, with a rich history, diverse designs, and a profound impact on music and culture. This stringed musical instrument belonged to the cousin of this guest's husband.
Husband's cousin. It's been in their family for a long time. My husband learned to play the guitar on it. My children learned to play the guitar on it. A friend of mine told me one time maybe I shouldn't let it stand in the corner in the case, and I said, why? And so it's always been a question about, is it real or is it not?
This guitar was crafted by C.F. Martin & Company, one of the most revered names in the guitar-making industry. Founded in 1833 by Christian Frederick Martin Sr. in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, the company has remained family-owned for 6 generations, with Chris Martin IV currently leading the legacy. Interestingly, this particular guitar was made in collaboration with John Cooper. John Cooper was a German-American luthier who partnered with Christian Frederick Martin in the mid-19th century. Together, they established a workshop at 385 Broadway in New York City, producing guitars and other stringed instruments.
You realize they weren't a big, huge company on the main street of town. They were upstairs.
This particular guitar features an ebony fingerboard, a popular choice among guitar makers due to its unique tone, playability, and aesthetic appeal.
The Stauffer headstock has beautiful engraving on it, Normally on this is a little bit lower end model. It's not real fancy. Normally it didn't have this headstock. To get the fancy headstock, you had to pay $1.
Another interesting aspect of this guitar is that it features a Stauffer headstock. The Stauffer headstock is a distinctive and historic design that originated with the Austrian luthier George Stauffer in the early 19th century. On the back of the guitar there is Brazilian rosewood, renowned for its stunning beauty and rich tone. Even after many decades since its creation, this guitar retains most of its original components.
Nicks, scratches, and dings, but all original finish, all original binding, original neck.
An estimation in the retail value of this Martin & Cooper guitar will be placed at
between $8,000 and $10,000.
Wow, really?
Really.
Cool.
A guitar passed through generations, carrying the echoes of family history and the hands that played it. The guest shares that this instrument belonged to their grandfather, who left it to their father, and in turn, it became theirs after their father's passing.
And my father had it for a number of years, and I learned how to start playing guitar on this when I was about 6, 7 years old. My father passed away about 8 years ago, and it was left to me.
Presented is a Martin 00018, made in 1934. Manufactured by C.F. Martin & Company, established in 1833 by Christian Frederick Martin, this piece is the perfect throwback guitar. Positioned in the upper tier of Martin's offerings during the Great Depression, this model represented quality and craftsmanship at a time when every dollar counted.
This is really the first of the modern style Martin guitar with the longer neck, 14 frets clear of the body, the solid headstock with right angle tuning machines.
What makes this guitar exceptional is its originality. Untouched tuners, original finish, and even its original celluloid pickguard and bridge, with only one bridge pin replaced. Despite decades of use, it bears only honest wear, and yet remains structurally sound, an uncommon trait for mahogany-bodied guitars of this era.
The finish is original. It has lots of wear from belt buckles and shirt buttons and things like that. In this business, that's what we call honest wear.
A key detail further elevates its rarity. This model originally had a longer 25.4-inch scale length, a feature Martin soon discontinued, making surviving examples highly desirable among modern players.
The thing that is interesting about this guitar is that right after this was made, Martin shortened the scale length, the distance between the nut and the saddle. And so this has the long scale, which they only did on this size guitar for about 4 years.
With only a few hundred ever made, and even fewer in this condition, this guitar is a collector's dream. In a specialty retail shop today, this Martin 00018 would carry an estimated value of
probably $15,000, $16,000.
Really? That's fantastic.
This 1956 Gibson L5C belonged to our guest's stepfather, who played guitar for the Mills Brothers as a guitarist for over 30 years. The Mills Brothers were an iconic American vocal group, known for their harmonies and smooth jazz-influenced sound. With a fully carved solid spruce top and highly figured maple back and sides, this L5C delivers a deep, rich tone. Notably, this instrument carries a significant legacy, having been used by Norman Brown, the band's guitarist, for more than 3 decades. Norman Brown, a talented guitarist, played a key role in the Mills Brothers' success, his skillful playing helping to define their sound. This guitar features a mahogany neck with a V profile, which is thicker than modern necks, and it is highly sought after for its comfort. Given its historical value and pedigree, the appraiser anticipated it could fetch a price of
for $16,000, perhaps $18,000 at auction.
Wow.
2 guitars, 2 eras, and 1 incredible family story.
They belonged to my father. He started a band with some friends. He got tired of them being unreliable, so he decided to teach all of us kids an instrument.
A 1964 Fender Stratocaster and a 1965 Fender Jaguar both passed down from a father who believed in music so much that he turned his own children into a band. Fender, founded by Leo Fender in 1946, revolutionized the electric guitar industry, and both of these models hold a special place in music history. The Stratocaster, introduced in 1954, quickly became the instrument of choice for legends like Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, and Buddy Holly due to its sleek contours and bright cutting tone. This particular 1964 Stratocaster is special, not only because it retains all its original components, but because of its rare white case, a feature exclusive to late 63 through 64.
The Stratocaster was made starting in 1954. So this is actually 10 years into the life of this guitar model by Fender.
While the Stratocaster was already a rock and blues staple, Fender introduced the Jaguar in 1962, aiming to create a more high-end guitar with an elaborate floating tremolo system and unique switching controls. The 1965 Jaguar presented here is a transitional model, bearing the post-CBS acquisition logo, a shift that many collectors note as a defining moment in Fender's history. Despite the CBS purchase, this Jaguar remains all original, with no modifications, making it highly desirable among enthusiasts and collectors. One of the most interesting details is the initials CW carved into the body, a personal touch that could stand for either country western or the original owner's name. Both guitars have seen their fair share of use, but rather than wear, they carry what the appraiser calls love, signs of a musician who truly played and cherished them.
I would call on a scale of 1 to 10, probably 7.5, 75% condition. They're good, but they have some
wear.
They have some love. I'd rather call it love than wear.
Over time, the Jaguar has found favor with modern indie and alternative musicians, becoming popular among millennials and hipsters for its offset body and versatile sound. Back in 1965, a Jaguar like this would have been Fender's top-of-the-line model. Its value in today's market would be estimated at.
These are in the $5,000 to $7,000 range.
Okay.
The Stratocaster, on the other hand, was priced at $300, but over the decades, it has become one of the most valuable vintage guitars on the market, worth about.
This guitar is in the $20,000 range.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is your big boy.
Yeah.
Some instruments are more than just musical tools. They hold their timeless history and craftsmanship. This 1937 Martin D18 was purchased brand new from a music store by the guest's father. Built by C.F. Martin and Company, it was crafted by a legendary guitar manufacturer founded by Christian Frederick Martin. This instrument features a dreadnought body shape for deep bass and balanced volume with a solid spruce top that adds clarity and resonance. Engraved on the headstock of this instrument is an inscription of Martin & Co., a classic trademark of the brand's long-standing craftsmanship. The back and sides of this guitar are constructed from mahogany, a wood choice known for its warmth and mid-range projection. Similarly, the neck is also made of mahogany, topped with a rosewood fingerboard that creates a smooth playing experience. Though the frets have been replaced, the original black dot inlays remain untouched. However, a neck reset was performed on this item to restore proper string height and tension, keeping the guitar in playable condition. While there are minor repairs on the sides and a few filled holes on the top, the structure of this piece remains unaltered. Retaining its original open gear tuners and lightly touched-up finish, this D18 has maintained its vintage character through the years. As a vintage masterpiece in this great condition, the appraiser estimates that it would fetch a price of.
I think its value would be $12,000 to $14,000.
Pretty good investment for $75.
Owning a guitar offers a unique outlet for creative expression, allowing individuals to convey emotions and ideas through music. This means of expression through music was inherited by this guest from his father.
Was he a player? He liked to play Hawaiian music. He liked to put these white suits on and with the sashes. And that basically was what he was interested in, was playing Hawaiian music.
Interestingly, this guitar is known as the 1924 Gibson L5 guitar. The Gibson L5, introduced in 1922, was a groundbreaking archtop guitar designed by Lloyd Law. Lloyd Law was a pioneering American acoustic engineer, musician, and instrument designer who began experimenting with instrument design and construction in his teenage years. He is best known for his groundbreaking work at Gibsoning, where he revolutionized the design and construction of archtop guitars, mandolins, and other stringed instruments. Gibsoning, founded in 1902 by Orville Gibson, is one of the most iconic and renowned musical instrument manufacturers in the world. This 1924 Gibson L5 is a highly sought-after, iconic guitar that represents the pinnacle of Gibson's early 20th century craftsmanship. It is a masterpiece of design, tone, and beauty, making it a holy grail for collectors, players, and enthusiasts. One striking aspect of this guitar is the presence of F-holes. Prior to this, many guitars featured oval or round sound holes. This model is considered a masterpiece of instrument design and is highly prized by collectors and players. Unfortunately, this guitar has some condition issues that affect its value.
It's got a refinish on it. Yes. It's got a reset neck and some binding changed.
With its condition issues, if this guitar were to come up at auction, it would fetch a price of
Probably about, I'd say, $8,000 in the market today, but a great piece.
A guitar steeped in country western history, passed down through generations and preserved with near-perfect care. Adding to folklore, the guest's grandfather, a rising musician in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee, purchased this piece and played on local radio, made television appearances.
Over the years, his notoriety was starting to grow. He played on local radio stations. He appeared a few times on a television show in North Carolina called The Parker Smith Show.
And it was also the guest's family opinion that the piece was purchased before his unfortunate passing in 1958.
He bought this and was getting ready to go to the Grand Ole Opry when he passed away, when my dad was 8 years old.
When did he buy it?
He bought it in 1956, 2 years before he passed away.
Afterward, the guitar was inherited by the guest's father, who tucked it away in its case for 50 years, only bringing it out on rare occasions. This is a Gretsch Chet Atkins Model 6120, one of the most sought-after country western guitars, built in Brooklyn, New York. It was manufactured by the famous American manufacturer Gretsch, founded in 1883 in Brooklyn, New York by Friedrich Gretsch. The serial number confirms its 1956 origin, and it still retains its original warranty certificate, signed by the guest's grandfather but never mailed in. Its signature western orange finish, cattle brand G logo, and distinctive Chet Atkins signpost inlay make it an unmistakable piece of music history. Unlike earlier models with western-themed fret markers, this one features plain pearloid inlays, marking a design shift from previous years. Equipped with 2 de-armond pickups and a Bigsby vibrato tailpiece, everything about this guitar remains original, a rarity for instruments of this age.
And everything about this guitar is original, and I think it's the nicest 6120 I've ever seen.
Wow, thank you.
Beyond the guitar itself, the original strap, warranty papers, and white case make this a collector's dream, filled with what enthusiasts call case candy. This piece is a treasured heirloom, not just for its monetary value, but for the deep family and musical history it carries. However, given this guitar's impeccable preservation, it could command an astonishing
$12,000 to $15,000.
That's incredible. My dad would be over the moon.
Well, I bet he'd be proud of you for keeping it in this condition all this time.
Our guest received this 1971 Rickenbacker light show guitar from her husband.
Back right out of high school in 1977.
He made you schlep this guitar down from where?
He made me schlep it from Peoria, Illinois. He loves to play this guitar when he gets a chance.
Yeah.
Commonly known as the light show guitar, this distinctive electric model blends innovative design with psychedelic era flair. Produced from 1970 to 1975, this model is famed for its light-emitting features and stands as one of Rickenbacker's most unconventional instruments. Rickenbacker is a legendary guitar manufacturer, celebrated for its distinct designs, innovative technology, and impact on electric guitar development. Founded in 1931 by Adolf Rickenbacker and musician-inventor George Beauchamp, the company pioneered electric guitar innovation. This guitar, known as Model 331, features a semi-hollow body with a translucent top, showcasing its internal lighting.
What I'm loving about it is it has this great sort of light mechanism inside that when you play it, it lights up.
Right.
Although the production numbers for this model are unclear, estimates suggest only 25 to 100 units were made between 1970 and 1975. Equipped with frequency-modulated internal lighting, this guitar's body is illuminated in varying patterns and colors in response to the notes played. Furthermore, its innovative design captivated both musicians and audiences, securing its place in Rickenbacker's history. As a mark of authenticity, this guitar bears a Rickenbacker mark on its headstock. Given its authenticity and historical significance, this guitar is estimated to be valued between
on this guitar, $20,000.
You're kidding me. Oh my God.